ever made, right up there with joining my company.
And in this last year, because of the Accelerator program, I went from being a network marketing ignoramus to now being a network marketing pro. I have the skills, the confidence, and the posture of someone who has been in the industry far longer than just 1 year. And now I stand poised to be the leader that I always knew in my heart that I am. A little bit about me. I'm a singer and a songwriter and a mom, and I love singing. I love the impact and the connection that I get to make from stage. But there were some things about it that I didn't love. The money. I was often worried about money because I made just enough to cover the basic costs of living and no more. And my time. I didn't get to decide when I worked. And that came into really sharp focus for me when my son got ill. He was very ill, and there were many times I did not feel comfortable leaving him home alone. And I didn't feel good about bringing him to some of the places where I was performing. And I felt really, really torn and a little bit helpless. I can remember one time standing up on stage with a big smile on my face, singing happy songs, but inside, my heart was weeping. And I was counting down songs in my head, 5, 4, 3, until I could rush and check on him. And then a miracle happened. I found a line of products that I fell so in love with that I just joined my company so I could get a discount on them. Who else joined a company so that you could get a discount on your products? See a lot of us. See Marie? But once I got inside the company and took a good look around behind the curtain, I was delighted with what I saw and decided to dare to dream big and run in the direction of my dreams. And now I don't feel worried about money because I know we all see how we can make that real money in this industry. We can make Jessie Lee money. We can make Stormy money. We can even make Eric money. And the only thing that stands between me and my goals is me. And my time is now completely my own. I choose when I work. And now I wake up every morning and leap from my bed with joy and song in my heart with this new way that I get to make connection and impact. Impact. We all have the profound privilege of helping people make their lives better. What more could we ask for? So dream big and dream bigger, and then run in the direction of your dreams. And when you achieve a dream, run into the direction of your next big dream. Thank you.
Give Catherine a big round of applause, everybody. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Great to see you. If you're excited for today, show me some hands. Come on. This is our time. This is our day. This is the day when everything happens. Right? Everything's set up for today. Everything's set up for today. Day one was all about making a decision. Remember day one, 1,000 years ago? When we started talking about making a decision, who has made at least one major decision over the course of the last 2 days? Raise your hands if you've made a decision. What I'd love you to do is post the decision that you've made into the comments. Post at least one decision that you've made into the comments. Let me see. What decision did you make? 90-day run? A lot of 90 days, consistency, stop my limiting thinking. Oh, I love seeing those 90-day runs. That's going to be so much fun. Giving 100%. Man, look at all the 90 days. Stop playing small. Yeah, man. Going to be super fun. So, decision was day one. Day two is all about acceleration, right? Velocity. Velocity. Guess what today is about? Thinking bigger. Expanding your mind. Giving yourself permission to think on a level that you've never thought about before. That's what this is all about. Yeah, dig in, it's Tonka time. I love the Tonka time thing. Wasn't that great? It's Tonka time. You know what else I love? I love hearing these little phrases. What was it? I'm a gladiator. Winter is my season. Winter's my season. I love that so much. Such an attitudinal thing. I'm a badass. I'm going to crush this. I want to make it happen. So we want this weekend to count for something, not just a fun memory of 3 days. I mean, how many times have you gone through a 3-day thing and it fades, the notes gather dust, they get piled up with other stuff. Yeah, we got to escape, have some good ideas, but somehow, if it doesn't get implemented, what does it mean? If we don't turn it into action, what does it mean, really? I want you to dedicate today to making a difference in your business. Let this day be the day that you really decided to go pro. I think back to the day, it was 3.5 years into my network marketing journey. When I was sitting like you're sitting now, and I was watching what was going on at an event, and I said, you know what? I'm done with all this other stuff. I'm going to be a professional. I'm going to be world class. And I realized 2 things when I made that decision. And the reason why I encourage you to do the same. Number 1, the fear left my body when I made the decision. I was super fearful to make it, but once I made the decision for real, all my anxiety and fear left my body. Number 2, I realized for the first time in my life that I was going to go to the top and nothing could stop me. For the first time in my life, I knew that I might be slower than some, but I was going to get to the top. And nothing could stop me. My lack of education couldn't stop me. My lack of contacts couldn't stop me. Where I lived couldn't stop me. My past failures couldn't stop me. Nothing could stop me. Let this be the day that you decide to go pro. The day that you decided to develop the plan to get there. Let this be that day. So before we dive into this morning's content, and it's an amazing morning for you, you're going to hear some things that are going to unlock you in a massive, massive way. But my team tells me that we have some questions. Over the course of the last 24 hours, we've got a bunch of questions. In my experience, if 10 of you have those questions, that means 100 of you have them, if not 1,000 of you, people watching from all over the world. So if it's okay with you, I'm going to take a few minutes to address them before we dive into this morning's content. Question number 1, what does the 90-day run look like? How much time? When does it start? Can I start it later? People were asking these types of questions. And will I make money during these 90 days? So here's what I will tell you. Time is often the enemy because you're reinventing the wheel, and that's why we started the 90-day run January 3rd. It starts January 3rd. That's a Monday. And we'll go all of January, all of February, all of March. I am personally with you, coaching you every day for 90 days. You'll be in a community sharing ideas and secrets every day for 90 days. And listen, it is recorded, so you can if you're not ready to start January 3rd, you can start whenever you want. You can revisit it. You can start your 90-day plan in June if you feel like it. You can do more than one. This is your 90-day experience that you can replay anytime you want. If you want to do one a year, you can do one a year from this one 90-day run. But we're going to be doing it live together as a group every day for 90 straight days. So here's what I will tell you. The commitment of time on your side is going to vary. Some of you are going to be able to do 1 hour a day. Some of you do 2 or 3 hours a day. Some of you will be able to commit 6, 7, 8 hours a day. Some of you are going to go crazy and do 16 hours a day. That's your decision. I want to promise you a couple things. It will be emotional at times. It might even feel a little bit painful because when you're growing, there's this thing called growing pains. To go to the next level, there's a little bit of growing pains. But you're going to have a community and me to help you every step of the way. But it's not for nothing. There's going to be massive gains over the course of this period of time. So understand, your time commitment is yours. And I also want to give you permission. Some of you might start to say, I'm going to do 8 hours a day. And 5 days in, you're like, oh, that's too much. You can take it down to 4. You can take it down to 2. You can start at 2 and you can take it up to 6. You can decide. This is your journey. I'm going to push you. I promise. I'm going to push you. I'm going to challenge you to step into a higher version of yourself, to give yourself more of a push. But you can pick the pace. And the other promise I will give you, even if you do 1 hour a day, you're going to have the most productive 90 days you've ever had in your network marketing career. For sure, and no kidding. Even with just 1 hour a day, you'll have a massive breakthrough. The other question was, how do the workshops work within the 90 days? So we got the 90-day run, starts January 3rd. We got these workshops that are once a month, December, January, February, March, for the 12 months. Each month, we anchor you with what we call our Get Shit Done implementation workshop. Each month, we anchor you with this workshop. And I will tell you on the timing of these workshops, they're going to start at 9 a.m. Pacific time, and they're going to end around 3 p.m. Pacific time. They're all recorded. They're all recorded, so you can access when you'd like, but live will be 9 a.m. to approximately 3 p.m. Pacific time. Each month we anchor you with these. With proven systems and strategies to save you time, energy, resources. You heard this from the accelerator panel yesterday, what they got from the different workshops. The systems and strategy are the missing link. It's not that you don't work, it's that you don't know how to work. We can help you learn how to work. That's our intention in these workshops. When you're no longer reinventing the wheel, you go from surviving into thriving. You get better results in less time. So these 12 pillars are about reinforcement. And we're going to bring in the best minds from outside the industry, people like Tony Robbins, Pete Graziosi, who you'll hear a little later this morning, Richard Branson, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. All these rock stars. And also the best minds from inside our profession. Proven 7-figure successful people that are going to be sharing their insights. Okay, so I want you to think about this, right? Think of the rhythm of this business and what we're going to do in the next 12 months. The rhythm is we're going to do a 90-day run and we're going to blast off. We're going to be a rocket ship. Second, we're going to provide a consistency of a monthly check-in with good ideas and strategies and implementation to keep you focused. How many of you would have doubled your productivity in the last 12 months if you just stayed focused for 12 straight months? Raise your hands if you would have had much more productivity. That's what these monthlies will help you do. Give me one Saturday a month. One Saturday a month. The only exception to that is the Tony Robbins one. That's on a Tuesday, I think. But every other one is on a Saturday. One Saturday a month. And I'll change your life. Okay? What is the time commitment per month? A lot of people say, well, how much time do I have to commit in order to be able to benefit from this program? This is designed around mastery, repetition. Write this down. Here's what mastery is about. Write this down. Repetition. Immersion. Proven strategies. Modeling proven strategies. Your environment. All of those things help you to create mastery. So the rhythm of this, one Saturday a month, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m., will help you get stuff done, will remind you of your greatness. Next is every Monday, you're going to get a dose of either inspiration from Million Dollar Earners, or once a month on a Monday, I will come in and do a deep dive, kind of hot seat training and questions and answers. But that's going to happen on Mondays. The Mondays are going to happen at 11 a.m. Pacific time. They're all recorded, but they'll be live at 11 a.m. Pacific time every Monday. Okay? 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. for the workshops, 11 a.m. on Mondays. And then daily, inside the private Facebook group for accelerators, that's where I'm going to be doing the 90-day run. That's where we're going to be communicating, bringing you surprise guests, bringing in special friends, bringing in extra bonuses. I'm going to be giving you all different kinds of scripts and bonuses and tactics and strategies constantly inside of that Facebook group. Let me just tell you this. If you want to step into this, put the 90-day run aside. Okay? Put the 90-day run aside for a moment. Give me 10 hours of focused time. 10 hours of focused time per month. 10 hours of focused time per month at a foundation. And we will rewire how you think. How you do, how you show up, how you see yourself. That's a base. 10 hours a month. The rest of the time commitment is up to you. Does that sound fair? 10 hours is the base. Rest of that's up to you. The other question we got from the team, or the team tells me, is I'm just getting started. Am I ready? Should I just do this? I just signed up yesterday. I think I told you already, if I can go back in time, I would tell a younger version of myself, yes, yes, yes. Please don't waste the next 3 years running around not knowing what you're doing. Get yourself in an environment like this. When investing time or money, I ask myself, can I afford not to? Can I afford not to? The best time to invest is right now, this second. You are the asset. You are the best investment. You know what my first investment was in network marketing? It was an audio program from Jim Rohn called The Challenge to Succeed. That was my first investment. I decided after I listened to that audio program, I said, I'm going to start investing. At that time, I invested $500 for the year. And today, anytime, I can give somebody some money and they can save me time, it's an automatic. If they can show me how to be smarter, better, wiser, faster, I'm in. I would tell you the same thing. If you're brand new, you signed up yesterday, you just signed up today, let's go. Let's do this. I can't tell you how many people were brand new, didn't have one person on their team signed up an accelerator and flew through the ranks within their company over the course of the last 12 months. So many of them. So if that's you, just know this is the best decision you can make. To grow, you have to learn to take uncomfortable action and weigh the return on your investment versus the cost of not taking action. What's it going to cost you if you don't do this? And what could it gain you if you do? Two really important questions. What will it cost you if you don't do this? And what could you gain if you do? If you believe you can make this investment back, or make 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, does that outweigh the regret of staying stuck and doing nothing? I hope it does. Most of us need help changing habits, myself included, applying new ideas, staying accountable. That's why I'm in mastermind groups. That's why I am investing in myself with virtually everything. That's why I have a coach for everything. Looking to cut a check for speed. Anytime I can cut a check for speed, or for accountability, or for hand-holding, or for education, or for support, I'm in. Regardless of how you're wired, you're going to get there faster with a like-minded community, for sure. Let's see the next slide, please, the next question. People ask the team, what is the difference between the Accelerator program and the Mastermind? Accelerator, $10,000 for the year, just $997 to get started. $997 to get started. Our focus is to help you go from where you're at now to 100,000 plus. Our goal is to help you go from phase 1 to phase 2. Who's ready to go from phase 1 to phase 2? Let's put phase 1 into the rear view mirror. Right? Let's get rid of that. The rest of you aren't? Come on. Who's ready to say goodbye to phase 1 and move themselves into phase 2? Show me some hands. Let me see. The rest of you aren't? Come on. All right, good. The masterminds are for six-figure earners and above. That ranges from $25,000 for the year to $75,000 for the year. $5,000 as an initial deposit to start your journey. Phase 2, next level mastermind, help you learn about promotion duplication, go from 100,000 to 1 million. That's what that's all about. Phase 3 is the Apex Mastermind. That's about scale and leadership. And I'm going to tell you, it's $75,000. It's only, the conference special is 50 grand for that. That's only for $1 million earners and above. Okay, the goal is to help you scale that million to a higher level. So if you decide to go pro, whether lifestyle entrepreneur or empire builder, we can get you there. The question for all of you is this your year? Is this a year you choose you? Is this the year you say, oh, I'm going to accelerate? Your phase 1, let's get it done. Your phase 2 will help you with next level mastermind. And also I would tell you, all the next level mastermind and Apex Mastermind, you get Accelerator as part of that whole thing. And there was a little link challenge this morning in the dashboard with the masterminds. If you're six-figure earner and above, if you go to gopromastermind.com, that will help you to be able to get all your questions answered about that. gopromastermind.com. That's just for six-figure earners and above. You can't, buy your way into that. You have to actually have earned it. The other question that we're getting is, will you offer different languages? Will you offer different languages? Here's the deal. We need at least 35 people in a particular language in order to offer translation, because it's translation for the entire year. It's translation on all the programs. It's very expensive for us to do it. So we need at least 35 people in each language to offer translation. So if you are speaking a particular language and you're hearing the translation right now, here's what my suggestion is. Go ahead, sign up for Accelerator, put in your $997 to lock in your spot. If we don't get 35 people, then we'll refund that deposit. If we get the 35 people, then we'll move forward in the program. But if you sign up and then you go encourage your friends to do the same thing, we'd be happy to offer all the languages in the world. We just have to be able to cover all the costs to be able to do it, okay? I think there's just maybe this is the last question. I'm not sure. When do I have to decide? When do I have to decide on Accelerator? When is the best time for you to make a decision to change your life? When is the best time? Right now. Right now. Today, we start today. We're going to have a welcome celebration during the lunch break today. These prices and the package that we're offering expires at the end of this event. And I got to tell you, I may never do a 90-day run with a group like this ever again. And for sure, never at this price point. No shot. I may never do it again. So I'd love to see it that we're going to have a celebration during the lunch break. And also at the end of today, at the very end of today, we're going to take a photo with the people who made the decision to be an accelerator, you and me. We're going to put you up on the big screen. I'm going to stand in front of it. We'll chat for a second. We'll take a photo. We're going to send that out to you just to kind of commemorate this. You know, I'm going to do as many as I can in the hour or so at the end of today. It's going to be a full day, but I'll take as many photos as I can possibly take. If you know you're meant to do this, why would you wait one more day? All it takes is $997. That's all it takes. Only you can do the work, but you don't have to do it alone. And if you know this is your breakout year, don't let a day become a week become a month become a year become a decade, and you just look back and say, I could have, I should have, why didn't I? So I hope that answers the questions. Anybody else have any additional questions? Additional questions? How do I get to your dashboard? That should be how you got in here. So you should be able to see that. Anything else? Anything else? Anything else? I think you got everything. All right, good. You ready to dive into content? If you're ready, say I'm ready. Show me some hands if you're ready. Crush this thing. All right. This young woman, I met her for the first time. She's in our masterminds now. She was in what we called at the time a six-figure summit event. And she came up to me, and it was interesting because she was like pretty proud. She was making like $30,000 a month or something at the time. And I said, congratulations, well done, well done. We're going to show you how you can make some real money. And she's like, what are you talking real money? 30,000 months is like a huge amount of money. Yes, it is. It's fantastic. But you're meant for more than that. She's like, what? And then we did a few exercises in the room, and she realized that it was a big opportunity in front of her. So today, I don't know can I say how much you're making? Can I?
Yeah.
All right. So this young woman, she's plugged into every single thing I've done. Whether it's accelerator or mastermind or events or anything else. And the thing I love most about her, when you're looking for somebody to help, somebody who's willing, coachable, and hungry, I can see her making a decision when I offer a strategy that I know will work, and she just goes, oh, and she writes. And I know she's going to get that shit done. She's going to turn it into reality super, super fast. So when I first met her, she's making $30,000, which is amazing. How many of you would be excited at $30,000 a month? It'd be unbelievable, right? Fantastic. But I want you to hear a couple things. She's one of the best tacticians I've ever met in network marketing. Systems, the ability, prolific. Guess how many people she's personally recruited in the last 4 years? How many of you personally recruited in the last 4 years? Put it into the comments. How many of you personally recruited in the last 4 years? Put it in the comments. How many? 17, 50, 6, 0, 22, 6, 36. In the last 4 years. Okay? This young woman has personally recruited over 9,000 people in the last 4 years. I can't even comprehend that. Would you like to learn from somebody who figured that out? She has over 1.3 million customers on her team. Not distributors, customers on her team. Would you like to figure out how to do that? When I met her, she was making $30,000 a month. We poured into her, she plugged into everything. And last month, I'm going to summarize, but I'm pretty sure it's more than $550,000 last month alone. How would your life change? How would your life change if $550,000 showed up in your bank account one time? What would you do? Who could you help? How many bills could you pay? What could you do for your family? And now imagine it shows up again next month. It's unbelievable. So to bring the heat, to bring some power, to bring some knowledge, to bring some skill, please welcome to the stage my friend and yours, Jessie Lee Ward. Come on, woman.
Hello, everybody. What's going on? My name's Jessie Lee. You can call me #BossLee. And I'm very blessed to be here with every single one of you. I need you to understand the time is now. Put that in the chat because we are getting straight to it today. It is so important you understand the time is now. There's no difference between me and you except for I make a lot of decisions. I make them quickly and I act on them. So, I need us to think about this, because today's a special day for our Europeans. Today is the finale. It just started for Formula One racing, so we are going to do a whole entire breakthrough of this, because your business is Formula One. But first, I need us to stop and slow down for a second. Because a lot of you are starting to think about people like me, or you're starting to think about people like Eric, or you're thinking about people like Fraser, or Yvonne, or whomever came on stage and resonated with you in your soul. And you stopped thinking about Liliana, and you stopped thinking about Kate, and you stopped thinking about Tegan, and you stopped thinking about Essie and Isioma. You stopped thinking about you and your dreams. And it does not matter what I want to do with my life. Do you understand this? It's irrelevant. It's not a comparison game. It matters what you want to do with your life, and so I need you to close your eyes. And remember, I can see you. Close your eyes, and I want you to turn your head to your right-hand side like you're looking at somebody. Keep your eyes closed. I can see you, Denise. Close your eyes and turn your head to the right. And I want you to see somebody next to you. It's you. It's not you today. It's you after you make this decision to actually go all in and actually do what it takes to have the life you want. And so I need you to think about what this person looks like. Who is she? Who is he? What is the most elite version of you, John? What is the most elite version? What does this look like? What do you walk like? What do you talk like? What are you reading? What events are you going to? What are you committing to? Who do you spend time with? Who do you let in between the 6 inches between your ears? Because I'm telling you, this is most of your problems. You let all these people tell you what you can do with your life, and you never stop to think, what can I do with mine? It's your legacy to live and leave. So I want you to look at that person on your right-hand side. I want you to start at your feet. What? On your most elite day, the day you're top ranked, the day you make $550,000 a month, $1 million a month, $10 million a month, because the limit doesn't exist. What are on your feet? Do you have a pedicure? Are you on the beach? Are your feet in the sand? Do you have on red bottom shoes? On boots? What do you have on your feet? Where are you? And move up to your legs for a minute here. You're still looking at this person on your right-hand side. Eyes are still closed. I don't know, guys, like, have you been working out? So did you shave your legs to show off those calf muscles? Ladies, what are you looking like? If you're in your best body, you're in your most prime physical state. It's the elite version of Andrea. It's the best version of Jimmy. It's the best version of Nikolai. What is the most elite version of Joanna? What does she look like? Now move up to your thighs. Are they strong? Are they powerful? Are they carrying you on stages across the world? You're speaking, you're pouring into people because you decided today that today is the day for you. And move up to your body. What does your stomach look like? Anyone with a six-pack? What's going on? right? Or maybe you're pregnant, who's in a fertility journey and you're carrying a beautiful child or children inside of you. Your most elite day. Maybe you went through a battle and you were able to afford IVF because you said today's the day. Move up. What are you wearing? What do your clothes look like? Maybe you're in a bikini. Maybe you're in a $5,000 custom suit. Move up to your head. What's your hair look like? Is it perfectly done? What color is it? Did you shave it all off? You have a hat on your head. What are your earrings like? Did you do your makeup? Are you all natural? What are you doing? What do you look like? What do you look like? What's in your head? Who's talking to you? Who are those people? What are the voices? What books are you reading? In your most elite version of Brenda, of Kelly, of Peyton? What's the most elite version of Ruben listening to? What are the friendships? What are the conversations you're having? You better make this decision today because I can't do it for you. You're staring at this person. Now open your eyes. And I want you to turn back center. I want you to look again. Look back at you. It's you, Wyatt. It's you, Nathan. It's you, Lula. It's because it's already inside you. That person already exists. Lorraine, she's here today. Louis, he's here today. Step into that, because I promise you, you're not done. I know there's $1 million earners, $1 million monthly earners watching this. You're not done. You're playing small just like I am. So who's ready to race? You ready to go? All right. Thank you for allowing me to let you see yourself the way that so many of us as your mentors see you. So your business is Formula One, guys. How many of you love Formula One? How many of you watch the Netflix special? How many of you watch the actual racing? Who's got a team? Anyone want to put your team or your driver in the chat? Who's going to win? Is it going to be the Dutch? We got Max Verstappen racing today against Lewis Hamilton. Is it the Brits? Come on, who's it going to be? I don't know. No one in the chat seems scared. Oh, there we go. Verstappen over here. All right, so listen. I need you to think about your network marketing business like Formula One, because there are a lot of mistakes you're making, and I want you to stop today. Number one mistake, a lot of you are comparing. You're comparing me, you're comparing you, you're comparing your upline, you're comparing your sideline, you're looking at all these people on the stage you're comparing. And in Formula One, there's a great, it's just stories. I watched this show, I watched these races, and I think to myself, you can't look at what one person's doing versus another. Some of these teams have budgets that are significantly less than other teams, and they still qualify for races. They still run their races. And some of you joined this business, and you're bringing people into this business, and you have the audacity to tell people that they can't win because they didn't start with the biggest packer. You're sitting there, and you haven't made the decision to go in and say the time is now, because you're like, well, I started with a small pack. I couldn't go in with the big, giant builder, whatever. Is my future doomed? Well, I gotta tell you, what if I told you I started with the smallest pack? My budget was the teeny tiny $150 million a year Haas budget. I was racing against the McLarens. I was racing against the Red Bulls. I was racing against the Mercedes. And I won. You can't compare. It's dangerous. So whoever drives the vehicle the best wins. That's how this works. Start racing, start moving, start trying, start showing up for you. The only way you're going to win this is if you learn to fail. You're going to crash your car. Oh, you're going to crash it over and over and over again. The wheels are going to fall off the car. You're going to pit incorrectly. You're going to run off the track. You are like yesterday, Verstappen, what happened, y'all? I saw what happened. He ran into the wall. He didn't get first position today. He didn't get the pole position because he ran into a wall. Just keep racing. Just keep driving. Are you going to commit to the turns? Are you going to commit to when your company changes the compensation plan, when your upline quits, when your downline quits, when your best friend leaves the business? Tanya, ever happened to you before? It's happened to me. It's happened to me. It's happened to all of us at the top. Doesn't matter. We're committed to the turns. I'm committed to my company. I'm committed to our team. I'm committed to my success. I'm going to win. You can't stop me. I'm a winner. I don't need motivation. It's in here. I'm a winner. I'm committed. You gotta be scared. Raise your hand if you're scared. Can we have some honest people? Who's scared? Anyone scared? Simone, a little bit scared. I love this. Thank you, Wendy, for your honesty. Thank you, Ron, for your honesty. You better be scared. Fear is used to focus you. When I'm scared, when I'm shaking, when I'm like, I'm actually probably gonna die if I do this training, if I walk on this stage, I might die. Death is imminent. I have to do a follow-up call, I have to do a Facebook Live, I have to do a reel, I have to figure out TikToks, I have to figure out how to put captions on something. What is it that scared you this weekend so far? What in your notes made you just basically want to just quit? Lean into it. That's your curve. That's your turn. You understand? That's supposed to focus you. Whatever that is that you're feeling in you, Megan, focus on it. You're supposed to do that. That fear is used to focus you, to guide you, so you're not focusing on all the other stuff. And so many of you are focused on the one thing that worked 5 years ago. Consider it a pole. If a pole's in front of you, and you're driving a Formula One racing car, they tell you, don't look at the pole! What happens if you look at the pole, Taylor? Come on, Jennifer, you know what happens, right? Sharon knows. If you're looking at the pole, you run into the freaking pole! Don't you? Yeah, because that's what you're focused on. Why don't you focus on making $1 million a year? Why don't you focus on helping 100 people this month change their life? Why don't you focus on getting on those training calls of yours that you keep missing out on? You happen to stumble upon GoPro because you got smart. You're going to run straight to the pole. Stop. Because you cannot win by driving scared. You cannot win by driving scared. You've ever been in the car with me? You've just been riding scared. I drive one of these Formula One cars. But some of you are competing with the wrong people. How many of you are honest enough and mature enough to own this statement? I'm not your competition. I've never been your competition. I've never been to be your competition. You understand? This is the network marketing profession. We are all the same. So in Formula One, it was really funny to me. I was watching this show, and there's these 2 Red Bull drivers at the time. They don't race for Red Bull anymore. Well, one does. It's Verstappen, right? So whatever, we'll just say it. Daniel Ricciardo, who if you're watching, hi. But anyway, so Daniel Ricciardo and Max Verstappen were on the same Red Bull team. I got a bunch of Americans on my screen because no one reacted to that. Heavens. All right, Europeans, thanks for staying up with me, right? And Verstappen started running Daniel Ricciardo off the track. Like race after race after race after race. Instead of competing together to win. Think about your business for a minute here. How many of you are doing this? If you're honest with yourselves. How many of you have not reached out and collaborated with that sideline leader because you go, oh, but I'm on the leaderboard here, and she's on the leaderboard here, and if I collaborate with her, then I'm going to make her better. Well, why don't you just both get better together? What a concept. What a concept. Does that make sense to me? Yes, if that makes sense. Right? You're not competing with me. I want the network marketing profession to win. Why do you think Eric is winning so big? Eric is winning so big because his mission is to help network marketing. The network marketing profession. Not the Eric Worre profession. The network marketing profession. Stop competing with the wrong people. Start watching the people. If you don't follow the people in other companies who their social media makes you go, whoa. Let me steal that, 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 let me steal that. I would have notifications on for every single person that I'm like, dang on, I could do that and put that in my company. I'm in health and wellness too, I can use that with my health and wellness. I'm in services too, I can do that with this. I do trading too, I can do this. You are not in competition with each other. There are 7.5 billion people in the world. What gives you the thought that everybody can't win? That's crazy. Stop fighting with the people that are on the same mission as you. Now, this was one of my favorite parts of Formula One, leadership. Okay? What you can accomplish when you don't blame and shame and justify every reason why you're not yet where you want to be, you'll start to win. It's just the law of the universe, right? So there's this one race, and it was Haas racing, and so like I already mentioned, there's 2 drivers per company, right? 2 drivers per company. And there's this track, and they're racing. And the first driver goes to pit. And when he pits, whoever was in charge of the back left tires of these cars this day put the tire on wrong. And he drives out onto the track, ready to go, and the tire falls off. He's out of the race. Well, luckily there's 2 drivers, right? Just like you maybe and your accountability partner, maybe you and your top leader, maybe you and your upline, maybe you and your company, 2 drivers. And the next driver comes in the pit, changes tires. What do you think happened? Put in the chat. Same back left tire. Was not put on right. Second car goes out. Wheel comes off. Both drivers DQ'd from the race. Crazy. Now, some of you, if something like this happened, would go, oh my God, this freaking pit crew, oh my God, the company, did you see the shipping delays? Oh my God, they keep saying we're going to open Europe, they keep saying we're going to open the Middle East, they keep saying we're going to fix the tax situation, they keep saying we're going to fix back orders, they keep saying, yeah, stop it, and be a leader. I love this. There's one person who can communicate, and that's the leader. These Formula One racing teams. And that manager came down, instead of yelling at the same boy who put the tires on wrong 2 times in a row, costing him the race. The leader said, hey, this is my fault. Tell me what we did wrong so we can get better. How many of you have ever done that in your business? It's really easy to blame your upline. It's really easy to blame your company. When was the last time you took the finger and you pointed it back at yourself? You were accountable for your actions. You led through situations. I thought it was amazing. He goes, well, we haven't been sleeping enough. We flew in here way too late. We didn't have enough time to practice. We don't have enough practice. We don't have enough hours. I'm exhausted. I'm dehydrated. Like everything kind of went wrong. And instead of yelling at him, he said, you're right. It's my fault. We'll get better. That's leadership. How many of you want to earn more? How many of you want when Eric says something about an accelerator, you go, you kidding me? Done. Like, what is that? That's basically free. Right? We all, yeah, Shannon, heck yeah, of course. Well, then you have to take that kind of accountability and leadership over your own business. There's no blaming here. Your success and your failures are based and predicated on your own response to how you're working in business. Now look, oh my man Eric, who are you listening to? How many of you are just students of every Tom, Dick, and Harry that falls onto your Instagram feed? Oh my God. Lord have mercy, this is crazy. You need to listen to one person. Eric is my person. When I'm mad, I call Eric. When I'm happy, I call Eric. When I go, what is going on in this business? I need to scale this. I call Eric. I don't call anybody else. Some of you are doing nothing because you have paralysis by analysis. You have 19 mentors in business. How's that working out for you? Because even as aligned as Fraser and I are, we just talked about this 2 days ago on stage. He just swung to one of the principles that I've been teaching for a few years. Just now. And I know some of you probably, if you listened to both of us, did nothing. Instead of something, because you went, well, Fraser said do this and Jessie Lee said do that, and both of them are, really successful. One business mentor, one life mentor. In Formula One, who's in these drivers' headsets right now? Who is in Lewis Hamilton's ear right now? You think it's 7 people? Do you really think right now in Saudi Arabia that Lewis Hamilton has 7 people in his ear right now going, all right, take the turn, now. Hell no. One voice. Focus on one voice, and you will get a lot further. Make it a good voice, by the way. Don't take advice from people who don't have what you want. Okay? I wouldn't be taking relationship advice from someone who's been divorced 7 times. I wouldn't be taking financial advice from somebody whose bank account looks like an emergency phone number, which is 0 in Australia. Okay? Like, that just sounds like a bad plan. Okay? Who is in your ear? All right, then. Trust is built over time. This is not something that happens right away. You cannot expect to win your first race. In Formula One racing, these boys start racing when they are little, tiny things, and little go-karts. Just like you with your little business kit. Ah! Oh, God! Right? You cannot expect to win right away. You cannot expect, I love the story this morning, right? My first year in business, I'm crushing it. And some of you now go, I'm 11 years in business. I'm not crushing it yet. What am I doing wrong? Stop. Goes back to what I said about comparison. This is the elite version of you. Okay, you're probably going to lose hundreds of races. But the trust is built every day. Every day. Every day. When was the last time you reached out to your leaders? When was the last time you just said, I love you? When was the last time you said, I'm grateful for you? When was the last time you just said to your customers, I appreciate your order, Penny, thank you. Claudia, thank you. Like, that was amazing. I really thank you for your order. Teresa, oh my gosh, another order, thank you. Oh my gosh, Beatrice, girl, thank you. Oh, I saw you, Rustra, on the training. Thank you for showing up to training. Virginia, that was so awesome that you showed up for 3 straight days. That meant a lot to me. Oh my gosh, Amy, you're amazing. Incredible. This is how trust is built. It's how you show up. You can say whatever you want to people. It's through your actions that people start to trust you. Let me explain something to you right now. The time is now. Some of you hear the words that I'm saying, but you don't get it. I know you don't. I will know who I'm talking to when next year I'm here and you're there too. Not watching me on a screen. Understand what I'm saying? Who's making the actual decision? Because some of you really think tomorrow's promised. I know you do, from the way you act. I swear this is the time. I swear, Jessie Lee, this is it. I'm really going to show up this time. Show me. Stop telling me. Because look at this. I got a story. We're going to get out a calculator right now. Everybody, calculators out. Show me your phone. This is my Nana, by the way. This is the woman that raised me. And I think every day if I'm making her proud. And every day when I don't feel like doing something, I do it anyway. There are 168 hours in a week. What if you had 7 days left? What would you do? What'd you do, Vicki? What'd you do, Lynette? What'd you do, Andreina? Then do that! Do you know this is a willable business? Do you know someday you don't wake up? What if you don't wake up tomorrow? What business are you leaving to your family, to your husband, to your children, to your wife, to your friends? Are you proud of that? I say it with love. Please hear my heart. I know I'm being a little right now, but this is serious. The average woman lives to be 82 years old. The average man, 76. Take that number in your calculator, subtract the years you are, put the number you are in the chat. So 82 minus 33, I'm 33 years old. I don't do mathematics. We already established that 2 days ago. I don't know how many years I have left, but put it in the chat. Some of you got 30 years left, 53 years left. Great. 47, 22, 30, 4, 42, 41, 18, 34. Can we all agree that's not enough? Can we all agree that's not enough? 19 years is not enough to do what I need to do. 58 years is not enough time to do what I need to do. Hope 35 is not enough years. I need time. It's not long enough. Multiply it by 365. Start collecting moments. Stop collecting money. The money comes when you collect the moments with people you actually love. And I love these two. If you know who they are, I love you. I know you're watching. Multiply it by 365. Now multiply it by 0.67. Put these numbers in the chat. So 19,345 for Taylor times 0.67, put that. You've got 10,222, Sandra, multiplied by 0.67. How many do you have left, Sandra? Kathy has 5380.1, 6358. You have 4,400 walking days left, Carol. Is that enough time? Then how many 90-day runs are you going to skip? If you only have 4,646 days left, Kenny, you have 3,423 days left, Kathy. How many 90-day runs are you going to skip for the legacy that you're choosing to not leave behind for your family? Come on. If you're feeling me right now, you put yes in the chat. Like if you're like, oh my God. Right. And the limit doesn't exist in network marketing. That's why I love what we do. You don't have to like me, because I love me. And I know that what I do is I serve. And I know that I show people a better way. And I know that I train people. The limit doesn't exist. What are you going to do about it? How many moments are you never going to miss again because you go all in? Because you decided the time was now. We take so much for granted. So much for granted. How many of you have been on an airplane before? Anyone been on an airplane before? Okay. I went to a conference and I met this man. He was talking about his family. He was taking a flight. He was in first class with 2 children in the back with his wife. And I don't know if you've ever been on an airplane where there's a fire, but this plane caught on fire. 30,000 feet in the air. And from the front of first class, he hears the flight attendant scream, "Fire! Fire! Fire!" as smoke fills the entire airplane. And I don't know if there's any pilots listening, but when a plane catches on fire, the pilots are instructed to immediately go into a nosedive to try to put out the fire. And in less than 60 seconds, the plane dropped from 30,000 feet to 10,000 feet. And the only thing that he could hear in first class was his children and his wife screaming, "Daddy! Daddy!" You have no idea. He lived. And when he lived, he stopped living like a lot of us do, which is assuming tomorrow is promised. We're thinking that we have another 90-day run we can try next year. Or GoPro will be there 10 years from now. Or I'll hit diamond, whatever the heck. No. No. Can we all agree the time is now? Will you put now in the chat if you agree the time is now? What is your GoPro story going to be? Let me tell you something. Run this race like the time is now. And you will be on stage and you will have your time. Because there is room up here for everybody. The bottom is crowded. Please come join us at the top. My name is Jessie Lee Ward. You can call me #BossLee. I love you and I appreciate you. Please take your life seriously. God bless you.
Jessie Lee Ward, everybody! How many people got at least 5 ideas to be able to improve your business? Did you? You know what makes me excited? And this, I want this to sound in the way it's intended. When I find a new student, when I find somebody that I give them, because you know the bad students? You know what I call the bad students? Ask holes. They ask for advice and then they never take it. They ask for help and then they never take the next step. They're all ask holes. But when I find a good one that's willing, coachable, and hungry, and I see them light up, when I give them a strategy that I know is going to work for them, and I I watch them, and within 72 hours, it's put into implementation. And they improved on whatever it is that I suggested that they do. They take it to the next level. And they come back and say, okay, what's next? What's next? What's next? What's next? That fires me up like you can't even imagine. Damien Fire was one of those. Jessie Lee Ward's one of those. Most people walk across the stage, one of those. You know, the people in Next Level and the people in Apex. You know, Morgan's one of those, right? My buddy Morgan is one of those. So she's putting her head in her hands, but she knows. She knows. Hits it. Does it. Now listen, as we go through this day, if you haven't made your decision for Accelerator and you decide, okay, I'm going to do it, you can go to your dashboard anytime. The moment when it hits you, go to your dashboard, click on the button. It only takes $997 to claim your spot and take the next step. Or you can talk to a program expert and get your questions answered on anything. Billing, you name it, anything. That's all in your dashboard. It's all going to take care of you. Now, I don't know when that moment is for you. It'll be different times for different people. But when you're ready, just pull the trigger and go. The decision's the hard part. On the other side, I promise you it gets easier. It gets easier once the path is clear, once you've made the decision. Now the next person you probably haven't heard of as much as you've heard of these other speakers, but I've gotten to know her for the past 2 years, and she's been the architect behind some of the big brands in the world. The Tony Robbins, the Dean Graziosis. She's been a coach to Marina and myself, one of our coaches, to be able to help us go to the next level. And I asked her if she would come and coach you on how you can take not only your life, but your events, whether it's online events or in-person events, and take them to the next level. She's an absolute expert, rock star, world-class person that can teach you how to take your events, small or huge, to the next level, and so much more. Please welcome to the stage, Bari Baumgardner. Get out here, Bari.
Hey, Tyrone and Lisa, Yadira, Samani, Madalena, Sylvia, Gerard. So good to see all of you here. Big thank you to Eric and Marina for creating this incredible space for us, right? Like, can we give it up for them? Like, give me this if you're just like, thank you so much. It's amazing that they did that for you, because when this pandemic first hit back in March 2020, it could have meant like no GoPro, no time to get together, no time to bring you together to get inspired, to get motivated, to learn from the best in the business. But if you know anything about Eric and Marina Worry, you know that they would never take no for an answer. They're way too committed to you. They're way too committed to their big mission to say we're going to let a pandemic stop us. And so from ground up in this warehouse, they built this virtual stadium so that we could bring the world of network marketing together. And you had the most amazing speakers this week. Have you loved the speakers this week? You had Emily Gavra. You had Jessie Lee Ward. You had 6-figure earners, 7-figure earners, Hall of Fame winners. And what I want you to think about when I'm talking to you today is when we design events like this, and it takes, the minute one event stops, we start planning the next one. And when we're putting this event together for you, what we're thinking about is how can we motivate you to go pro? How can we motivate you to get out of your own way? How can we motivate you to see something that's possible that you couldn't see before and to actually believe that you can do it? Who's had a shift, just a show of hands, in your belief of what you can do over the last 3 days? Like, I see myself differently. Yeah, let me see it. I see myself differently. I see my people differently. I see this industry differently. I see what's possible differently. That's exactly what we're here to do. And I want you to know that, like, they were at the perfect place and time when COVID hit. Unprecedented time, unprecedented opportunity to create this year for you. You don't have to travel, didn't have to get on a plane, didn't have to leave your family, didn't have to barter to go away for days. You can do this right from the comfort of your own home. So that was the first big opportunity. And then, what you have in front of you is the next big opportunity, which is the Great Resignation. Who's heard of the Great Resignation? Put your hand up if you know what I'm talking about. Just want to get a feel. Not many of you, so you should know about this. What is the Great Resignation? It is more people than ever before quitting their job. More people than ever before saying that COVID got me to realize, being with my family, that I either love my family more than I ever knew, and I don't spend nearly enough time with them. I dislike my family more than I ever knew, and I've spent way too much time with them. Or I don't have a family. I don't have anyone to spend time with. I'm really, really alone. And so it forced this whole shift in priorities. Forced a shift in looking at your life and who you want to be and how you want to show up and what you want your world to look like. And why is this an opportunity for you? Because they are out there looking for you. They're out there looking for the answer. You heard it on our panel yesterday. 2 people said, and because of an email that came in, because of a post in social media, because of a video I watched, I saw for the first time that I could create a legacy for my family. That I could take a family that had generational poverty, and I, at 19 years old, could completely change that. At 19 years old, I could change my life and my family's life and future generations' life, and it started from one post. Or a woman who left an abusive marriage after 12 years, and it was that one post that had her go, I wonder if that could work. I wonder if that could be my ticket out. I wonder if that could be my start. Or a couple who had everything go south, and then thought, no, there is a chance. There is a different way to look at this. There is a way to reinvent. So if you're looking at yourself as just what you can do, you're looking way too close right here. I want you to be looking at what you can do out here. It's not just what you do in your own home. And yes, network marketing gives you the ability to change yourself, to change your family, to change future generations, generational wealth, forever changed in your family by the actions that you take. Jessie Lee just laid that out beautifully for you. But it's also all the people you're going to help, all the people in your downline who are out there waiting for you. I resigned from my job. I know I'm meant for more. Now what? Now what? Who are you to not get out there and not just do what you need to do for you, but do what you need to do for them? How many people are waiting for you to step in, step up, and lead them to a better future? The way that Eric and Marina are leading you this 3 days. Because they know the world needs you now more than ever. And I know the world needs you now more than ever. So what I want to share with you all starts from one core belief. I've been running events my entire life. I mean, in high school, I put together the prom. Forever sorry to the kids at Bayside High School for the things I made them do, like cutting out 1 million silver stars and hanging them from a gym ceiling. So it started with that. Then in college, it was fundraisers. And then I was lucky enough to get a job right out of college planning events for associations. And one thing led to the next, which led to me starting my own business in 2004. And in the last 2 decades, what Eric said is true. I work with the best people in the information marketing space. I have the privilege of working with Tony Robbins and Dee Graziosi and Jeff Walker and Jamie Kern-Lima and Gabby Bernstein, and the list goes on. Thank you. But what I'm most proud of isn't those names. It's that through the power of an event, and it's true for your business too, through the power of an event, we change lives. When I look around this virtual stadium, I know that because of the work I do, I have a chance to change every single one of your lives. But it all starts with one core belief. And it doesn't matter where you live in the world. It doesn't matter what language you speak. It doesn't matter what niche you're in, what network marketing company you work for. It starts with the core belief that you're meant for more. I believe you're meant for more. Eric and Marina believe you're meant for more. The speakers on the stage believe that you're meant for more. So what I want to know is, do you believe you're meant for more? If you believe you're meant for more, I want you to post it in the chat. I want to see it. I am meant for more. I am meant for more. Don't put it unless you mean it. Do not put this in the chat unless you really mean it. I'm meant for more, Trish, Lori, Jackie, Sunshine, Jayshree, there you are, Georgette, Camelia, Kelly, Vivi, Terry, Faye, Graham, Katerina, Bershie, Atega, Teresa, Melanie. Every single one of you should be posting in that chat, I am meant for more. When we are born on this planet, we are meant for more. But getting more means that you have to seize the opportunity to be more, to do more, to have more, and to make more. Now, for many of you, you'll skip straight to make more. I meant to make more. But here's the dirty little secret. You can't make more unless you learn how to be more. Be more confident. Be more clear. Be more strong. To do more in less time. Do more efficiently. Do more strategically. Do more systematized. Have more. Have more work-life balance. Have more time to be creative. Yes. And then make more. Make more money. Make more light. Make more love. It's not just money. Make more. And what's amazing about this industry is that you truly can decide today to go pro and to be more, and to do more, and to have more, and to make more. You decide. You decide. And here's the truth. And I'm known for telling the truth on stage. It's not always convenient truths, not always easy truths, but I will be honest with you, I will shoot from the hip. It's not easy. It is hard. It is hard to start a business. It's hard to be entrepreneurial. It's hard to work your upline. It's hard to work your downline. It's hard to do a 90-day run. And it's worth it. And Lisa Nichols said it yesterday. I loved it. Oh man, could she preach it? I love her. I was her backstage and every time I talk to her, she makes me cry. Because she just speaks truth. Lisa will get right up to you this close. Like Louis, she talks to you right here. She's like, what's been going on with you, big girl? What are you doing? What's been going on? How are you doing? And we just talk real talk, like best friend talk, like we have seen each other every single day, even though we see each other a few times a year. And we were talking, and then she came out on this stage and told you that story, and what she said specifically was, so many times you were waiting for it to get easy, to not be hard. When will it not be hard? Asking the question, when will it not be hard? Instead of asking the question, when will I be stronger so it feels less hard? Do you see the difference in that? Like, you have to see that. It's not that it's not hard. It's that you get stronger so it gets less hard. But it's worth it. Because when you do well in this space, when you be more, when you do more, when you have more, when you make more, you also have the freedom to work where you want, when you want, with whom you want. Like, it is literally the keys to the kingdom. You can be a lifestyle entrepreneur. I just want better stuff. I just want a better life. I want better things. I want a better car. I want to live in a better house. I want to go on better vacations. Or you could be an empire builder. Like Stormy, like Jessie, like so many of the people that you see on the stage. That's possible too. You decide exactly how far you want to go. That's what's amazing about what you're here to do. But here's the thing. Knowing that you were meant for more and taking the steps to be more require uncomfortable action. They're two different things. I really want you to get this. I am meant for more, and knowing that is not the same thing as doing the things that allow you to be more, do more, have more, and make more. And generally, the common denominator is uncomfortable action. You've got to take uncomfortable action. You've got to get comfortable being uncomfortable. I want you to put that in the chat. I've got to get comfortable being uncomfortable. For any of the skills that you learn to work, you have to get comfortable with overcoming objections. And that's what I'm here to talk to you about today. Because in all the events that I've run over the last 17 years and beyond, I've owned my business for 17 years, close to 2 decades, and what I've learned from talking to hundreds of thousands, if not millions of you, about a big decision in your life. Margot Erickson, I saw you yesterday in my lobby. Saw you making big decisions about your life. Serena, I saw you. Isabella, I see you. Joanne, I see you. Akobe, I see you. Karina, I see you. Denise, I see you. All today making a big decision. So one way or the other, you are making a decision today. A decision about how long you stay. Do you stay till the very end of the event, or do you leave early? A decision about what you do tomorrow when you wake up. Was Eric said it this morning, fun 3 days of escapism? Or you actually take the first step to doing things differently. Or you decide to join us in Accelerator so that you're not having to do it alone. Only you can do the work, but you don't have to do it alone. Or you join us in one of the masterminds so that you can scale the success that you're already having. So you can create even more opportunity to be, do, have, and make. No matter what, you're making a decision today. It's what you decide. It's how you accelerate. It's what you do to think bigger. And what's going to stop you in your tracks is going to be your own ability to overcome objections for yourself, for your family, and for the people around you. For your team, for your tribe, for your upline, for your downline. For any of the skills that we gave you this weekend to work, you have to get comfortable overcoming your own objections. And it's what I think of as the art of enrollment. We can call it sales, but how many of you cringe at sales? I hate selling. I don't want to sell. I'm not really loving selling. Oh, yep, Susan's like right away. She's like, not me, I don't love selling. Is there any way I could be super successful in this space and not have to sell? Is that possible? But what if you didn't think of it as selling? What if you thought of it as enrolling? Enrolling yourself in the belief that you can do more. Enrolling your family in the belief that you can do more. Enrolling your team in the belief that they can be, do, have, and make more. What if it became about enrolling people versus selling people? Because I really do think of sales as a service. It's the fastest path to go from dependence to independence, from certainty to uncertainty, to be able to truly make change in your life, in your family's life, and future generations around you, and the legacy that you're going to leave in this space for yourself and for your people. So what I'm going to talk to you about today is how to do this. I have a multi-7-figure business. I had my most successful 2 years during the pandemic. Most planners and producers and event strategists went out of business, slowed their business, or changed their business. We had our best 2 years in the last 2 decades. Thank you. But it's not about me, it's about you. The reason that we had our best 2 years is I know my work is too important to let you down. If I didn't show up differently, if I didn't pivot, if I didn't figure out virtual, if I didn't figure out virtual stadiums, if I didn't do that, Tony Robbins' Unleash the Power Within would still be sitting on the shelf, waiting for the pandemic to end. But because of what we did, he had his first ever virtual UPW. And because of that, we served 25,000 people. And because of that, Eric and Marina built the stadium. And because of that, they had GoPro last year. And because of that, we have GoPro this year. And all the things that have sprung from that. So where in your life are you letting a limiting belief show up and keep you from doing the thing that you know you were supposed to do? And here's the thing. I've talked to so many of you yesterday. They're like, I really don't know what to do. I don't know if I should do Accelerator. I don't know what I should do. I'm not sure what the next step is. And this is what I said. Listen here. You do know. You just don't like the answer. Those are two radically different things. Truly not knowing what to do versus I know what I want to do. I know what I need to do. I know how I need to show up. I'm just afraid to do that. It's considerably scary. It's an uncomfortable action. It requires me to show up differently. It requires me to have difficult conversations. It requires me to stretch beyond my comfort zone. Those are two different things. And here's the thing, you could stay in a job. That is a decision you could make. Many of you are in a job right now, not a job you love, not a job that fuels your soul, not a job that you're passionate about, but a job that pays the bills. And on some level, sure, I guess it's easier for a while, except you have no control over what they're going to pay you, no control over when they're going to let you go, no control over how you scale, no control over who and where and when you put Christmas presents under the tree or do the family vacation. It becomes that, when will they magically give me the next thing? They have to give you, bestow upon you the next thing. Of course, yes, you have to earn it. So on one level, yes, maybe that's easy, but wouldn't it be easier for a little bit of pain to have a lifestyle where you decide how much you make, you decide when you work, you decide where, you decide when, you decide with whom, and you help others do it too? You lead the charge, not just for yourself, but for others too. You model for your family what that looks like. So if you really believe that sales is a service, then you have to overcome the fear of selling. You have to overcome the fear of listening to that inner voice that does know, that is telling you. That inner voice does know that you're meant for more. That inner voice is why you're here. That inner voice is why you chose network marketing. That inner voice is what drives you to do more and frustrates you when you can't, because you know you are meant for more. You know your teams are meant for more. So how do you talk to that inner voice? How do you talk to the people around you and convince them what needs to happen next? Convince yourself every single day. Not just enrolling yourself once, but re-enrolling yourself every single day. It's a muscle that you have to build. And for me to stand here and tell you this on this stage right now, I feel like, well, sure, Bari, you look pretty confident in this. You look like you're doing pretty well. You just had your best 2 years ever. You work with some of the best in the business. That's easy for you to say. But I want the team to throw up a picture of me. And this is me, my first day of school, outside my house in Pocahontas Village, which is in Virginia Beach, which is absolutely the poorest neighborhood in our school district. Literally on the wrong side of the tracks. Like, there's railroad tracks, and then there's our house, like literally on the wrong side of the tracks. And this little girl, who even then I will say was fond of good shoes and a good bag. That has not changed. Like, even then I'm like, yep, I'm going my first day of school. I got my shoes, I got my bag, I'm ready to go. Even then I knew I was meant for more. And I will tell you that that same little girl who loved Girl Scouts, who loved like the little tea cakes and loved the activities and loved the outfits and loved the badges, when they said, and now it's time to sell cookies, I'm like, oh no, hard no. Like, it all the fun stops with selling cookies. Who can relate? Like, I'll do all the things, but I'm not selling. So for me to come from that to me being here with you, what is the path from being her to being her? To being her. The path is overcoming objections. The path is understanding that there's a hierarchy of objections. And this I tell you from the perspective of someone who's done so many events and helped so many people and seen that every country, every niche, every language, the objections are exactly the same. Why are they exactly the same? Because we're humans. Human psychology, human selling psychology, human buying psychology, exactly the same. They are no different. We are human. And so the same objections come up over and over again. Why is this amazing for you to know? Why is this so great? Because if it all comes down to the same objections and you know what those objections are, then you can uncover how to overcome them for yourself and for others. It's not like there's this mysterious pool of objections out there. How are you going to tackle that? I'm going to tell you today it comes down to 5. So get your pen out and write these down. It comes down to 5. Time, money, spouse, fear, shame and self-doubt. Those are the 5. Tested, proven. The things that will keep you from doing what you're supposed to do, doing what the inner voice knows you are supposed to do. The things that are going to keep your downline from showing up and sticking with you and doing what they're supposed to do, they're all the same. Time, money, spouse, fear, shame, and self-doubt. And it is a continuum. Let's take time. I would love to do it. I just don't have time. I think of this as a really easy example would be how many of you can remember way back to Emily Vavra being on stage on day one. I know that seems like forever ago. It was just 3 days ago. Emily lit up this stage. Love her. And she jumped up and down, and she got you jumping up, down. Greatest show on earth. We're going to go pro. Yes, 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 yes. And then yesterday, Lisa Nichols got on stage. Conviction and convenience do not live on the same street. No truer words have ever been spoken. Conviction and convenience do not live on the same street. Yes, Lisa, yes, Lisa, yes. And then it comes time to make a decision. I would love to do it. I just don't have time. I would love to. I just don't have the time. It shows up that fast. It shows up that fast for you, and will show up that fast for your people. So where on the continuum of time are you? I really wasn't planning to do this, and I would really have to take a look at my life. I might have to not do tennis on Tuesdays, or not do the book club, or work after I put the kids to bed, or convince him or her to take the kids out on Saturday morning so that I could do some work. That's one end of the spectrum. And then the other end of the spectrum is, I don't know. I mean, I've got 3 jobs. And I'm still struggling to put food on the table and to pay our rent. Those are both time objections. Who follows? They're both time objections. Let me see it. Are you with me? But they're at completely different ends of the spectrum. Exactly. So where do you fit, truly, self-analysis, real talk, where do you fit on the time spectrum? I have a hard time making the time, but I could. It would be really difficult to make that time, but I'm committed. I'm choosing commitment over convenience. I wish I could, but if I'm being really honest, there's no way I can do that and still keep our family afloat. You have to analyze that for yourself, and you have to help your people analyze it too. You can't just go to people and say, of course you can make the time, without knowing where they fit on the continuum. So the first question that you can ask when someone says that to you, or even to yourself, you can ask yourself 3 simple words. Tell me more. Tell me more about why you think you don't have time. You can say this to yourself. If I'm being really honest, why do I think I don't have the time? Is that something I'm telling myself, or is that something that's real? Is that something I could change, or negotiate, or restructure, or re-strategize? Or is it an uncomfortable reality that I will have to work on to fix? Those are real questions to be asking yourself and to be asking the people around you. It's the same thing with money. Money is a little deeper. Time's a little easier to talk about. Wish I could, I don't have the time. Money is getting a little bit more personal, right? I wish I could. I can't afford it. I don't have the money. Which sometimes makes us feel shame, right? That farther buried shame and self-doubt. I wish I could. I just can't afford it. I'm all in, except I can't afford it. And so again, the question to be asking yourself, tell me more. Ooh, I wasn't planning to spend that money right now, but I could. I have to move some things off the credit card to make it work. I might have to get a job driving Uber in the beginning to make the payments. I might have to pull some of the stuff that none of us use anyway around this house and sell it on eBay. It's completely different than I can't put food on the table if I do this. I'm one step away from living in my car. That's the continuum. And I really want you to be analyzing that. Where do you fit on that continuum? Where do your people fit on that continuum? Don't just say, sure, you can find the money. Come on, you can find the money. Without saying, tell me more. Without asking yourself, tell me more. Why is this something that has just been programmed into me? People like us can't afford this. That sounds like a cult. You heard all of them in the great debate yesterday, right? Is that really what you're going to spend your money on? Are you for real right now? That sounds crazy. That's never worked. Remember that time you failed? Remember that time you spent that thing? Remember that time? Remember you said, whatever you do, I shouldn't let you spend money on that again because of what happened the last time. These are all the things that come up for us based on our past performance. But your past performance is not a predictor of your future success. I'll say it another way. Your past failures are not a predictor of your future success. So have real talk with yourself about money. What is really possible for someone who knows they're meant for more, to be more, to do more, to have more, to make more? How committed are you to finding a way? Because here's the thing about money. It's not about resources, it's about being resourceful. These are not the same thing. Resources is I have a pot of time over here, a pot of money over here, just waiting to be spent. By the way, pretty rare for that to be true. Very rarely are people just sitting on a bucket of time, sitting on a bucket of money, just looking for what to do with it, especially if you're in phase one. Versus being resourceful. What are 50 ways that you could come up with the money to start your network marketing business, the money to go pro, the money for Accelerator, the money for Next Level Mastermind? 50 ways, not 15, 50. An exercise that we do in our house, my husband and I, when we want something considerably huge, that is an uncomfortable action, that's a really big stretch, is we take out a sheet of paper and we write down 1 through 50. Single sheet of paper, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way down to 50. And we write down all the ways that we could pay for the thing that is the next big stretch, that is the next big I'm meant for more. The magic happens somewhere around 35. The first 5 are going to be the most obvious things, and then you're going to start to really get resourceful. You have never lived in a time where it is easier to go make money. You can take your car and go make money. You don't have to sell your body, you just have to sell your car, right? Uber. Is that a permanent fix? No. Is it a temporary one? Yes. How resourceful are you? A zero interest credit card, going to a family member, collecting a debt, getting really active, doing a 90-day run. All of them could work. All of them do work. If you show up and do the work, if your team shows up and does the work, being resourceful. So the next one is spouse, or significant other, or business partner. It's that person who you share your business with or you share your bed with, right? Sometimes it's also, it could be like your mother or your sister. It's the person who has great influence in your life. The person that you most often go to when you're trying to make a considerably big decision. And here's the thing about this. So often they're not qualified to be asked the question you're asking them. It doesn't make them not great people. Your mom is amazing. Your sister's incredible. Your spouse is actually a pretty good guy. But they're not you. They don't have your same vision. They're not your business coach. They're not your financial coach. And if we're being really honest, can we be really honest? Can I be really honest? I'm seeing some head nods. I'm seeing Pete's like, yes, go. All right, let me define what being really honest is. Being really honest is what I call a level 5 conversation. Like Lisa and I could go there in an instant. It's like your best friend conversation, right? Like the person who's just like, I'm going to be super honest with you because we know each other so well. Level 1 is like superficial, how you doing? Good, you too, yeah. Level 3 is like, how you doing? Pretty good. It's been kind of a rough year, but I'm doing okay. Level 5 is like, how you doing? Oh my gosh, can I just tell you, the worst thing just happened. This has been the worst year ever, right? So I'm gonna go level 5 with you on this. Now is it okay? Like, let's see a show of hands. Like Davina and Neil and Sharon and Marceau, is it okay? Okay, Pete's still giving me a high five. Max is now giving me a high five. People who weren't giving me a high five are giving me a high five now. Okay, so I'm gonna go there. This is the uncomfortable truth. Not only are they not qualified to answer the question you're asking them, but the way you're asking the question is dictating the answer. And the way you've shown up in the past is dictating their response. So it often sounds like this. Hey, you know, I've been at this thing for a few days, this GoPro thing? Yeah, uh-huh. Yeah, so I know that, yes, I still haven't done the thing in the yard I said I would do, but I will do that tomorrow. But yes, yeah, So I had this idea. There's this thing, it's called Accelerator, and it's all the things that I've been looking for, and it's, yes, you do have to pay, yeah, no, okay, well, I'm gonna get there. Yeah, well, it's $10,000. No, I know that's a lot. Well, I know, yes, I know we said we not spend that much. I know, I remember that the last time I did that, and I didn't actually do it. Yes, I remember that I told you to tell me when I asked this time, no, because we know this never works. You're right. Okay, yeah, I know. I know it's not the best. I know, Christmas is, I know. This is not a good time. We don't have the money. I'm not yet making money. I know. Okay, yeah, I got it, I know. Who follows? If you're being really honest, how is that? Is that how you're talking to your, yes. I know. Do you know why I know? Because I'm you. I've been you. It's how we all do it until we know better. So here's the thing. Only you can give yourself permission. You have to ask for support, not permission. Only you can give yourself permission. So the way this conversation has to go is more like this. Hey there, so sorry, I know you're trying to watch the football game, but this is really important. I'm taking the liberty of recording it, so you're not going to miss anything, and I need your full attention. I hope you can see from everything in my body that a lot has shifted over the last 3 days. Do you know how I have been turning every dinner conversation into a coaching conversation about my business, and how I'm constantly complaining about this and that not working, and how I'm always in self-doubt? And sometimes I blame you, and sometimes I blame the kids, and sometimes I blame myself. Well, it turns out that the reason this is so hard is because I don't know what I'm doing. And it was so freeing to realize that that's okay. We don't expect lawyers to know. We don't expect doctors to know. You wouldn't expect a surgeon to go into surgery without having what? Education. Would you want a surgeon who has not done any kind of surgery working on you? No. Would you go to a lawyer who had no formal schooling and ask them to represent you? No. And yet, because I've chosen to be an entrepreneur, I just thought that I was going to be imbued with everything I need to know. And of course that doesn't make sense. And now I realize that. And oh my God, it has just been like a light bulb moment. But what's even better is that there's actually a system and a strategy that's been proven, that's been figured out. I just have to show up and follow the steps. It's a 90-day thing, and I'm just going to show up and do. I'm not going to question, I'm not going to ask, and I'm not going to bring it to you at the dinner table. I'm going to show up and do the thing until I get the results. Surrounded by people also doing the thing. Why is this amazing? Because you can stop having every dinner conversation be about the business that isn't working. I promise not to do that anymore. And I know that I have failed in the past and not shown up the way I wanted to because I was super confused. I hope you can see in everything in me right now that I have never been more clear. And here's the thing, I need this. I need strategies. I need systems. I need to stop reinventing the wheel. I need to stop making you my business coach. I need to be surrounded by people just like me doing exactly what I'm doing, so when I start to doubt myself, I can go to them, not go to you. This will be amazing for our marriage. I will be a better wife. I will be a better mother. I will be a better partner. I will show up more fully. And if you will support me in this, if you will, I have to do this. If you will support me in this, I promise you to show up differently. And my thank you to you, my reward to you, is I will blank. Put in the thing you will do and mean it. I will not work on Saturdays. I will put the kids to bed at the end of the night. I will take us on a family vacation when I hit this number. I will pay you back with interest and mean it. A family loan is still a loan. If your spouse gives you the money and you look at it that way, then it's a loan. Pay them back with interest and mean it. Do it. They will see you differently. But more importantly, you will see you differently. If you don't like you, and you don't like how you're showing up, and you don't like how you're being seen, and you don't like the answers you're getting, it says more about you than it does about them. And that's an uncomfortable truth. You are meant for more, and you can do this. Ask for support, not for permission. Yeah. Asking for permission will keep you stuck forever, and it will kill your spirit. So we've got time, we've got money, that uncomfortable conversation that is spouse, and now we have fear, I'm afraid to do it. And that too is a continuum. How afraid are you? But what is the worst that could happen if you show up and you do the work? And aren't you tired of living in fear? Whether you're saying this to yourself or you're saying this to your team, aren't you tired of letting fear control everything? Wouldn't it be nice to step over the fear line and say, no more? We're going to get to know each other. The thing I'm most afraid of, I'm going to hug it and kiss it and hold it close and conquer it and slay it to never be dealt with again. I'm going to make the very reason not to my reason to. Every reason why I wasn't going to do it is the reason I have to do it. Because I don't have time, I must do it. Because I don't have money, I must do it. Because I don't have spousal support, I have to do it. Because I'm afraid, there's no other choice but to do it. Because otherwise I'm just living with that realization every day when I look in the mirror that I'm too afraid to show up and claim being meant for more. That's on you. There's only so much we can do. At some point, you have to stand up and stand for you and look in the mirror and love the person you see, because while you're not perfect, there is progress. Progress, not perfection. Because you're taking yourself seriously. You're taking the journey seriously. You have decided to go pro with everything in your being. Your past failure is not a predictor of your future success, which leads to shame and self-doubt. So many of you will not do something, and this is true of your teams too, because you are ashamed that you failed before. And failure is normal. Failure is real. And failure is proven to be part of the path. Nobody swings for the fences and doesn't have a failure. No one you know who you admire, who's on this stage, who is extremely successful in this space or any other one, politics, entertainment, modeling, anything you want at sports, got there without having a failure. It's not possible. You cannot swing for the fences and not have a failure. You cannot take uncomfortable action and get it right every single time. So why would you let that stop you? And I often think of this as the equivalent of saying to a child who is just starting to walk. How many of you have a child? Have been a child? Know a child? Seen a child? They're just starting to walk. And they teeter up and they fall down. And they teeter up and they fall down. And you're watching this like, oh my gosh, is they ever going to get this? And finally you watch that little head turning and like, oh, if I crawl over to this thing and I stand up, I pull myself up, oh, and I fall down again. But they keep trying, and then finally they take the first step, and they do what? They fall down again. Now, if you're watching this, are you, as their parent, their aunt, their grandmother, their babysitter, are you going, oh my gosh, clearly you're not meant for more. You are not meant to walk. I'm just going to adjust my expectations you're a crawler. Clearly you're going to crawl your way through life. I'm going to be okay with it. You're not meant for walking, clearly. We would never, ever, ever say that. And yet we say much more horrible things to ourselves all the time if we have a single failure, a single fall down, if things don't go perfect. Do not let that control you. Champion that. The fact that you're swinging for the fences, the fact that you're taking uncomfortable action, every failure is one step closer to building that muscle to doing what? Being stronger, like Lisa said. It will be less hard because you're stronger. It's a muscle that you have to build. So I want you to ask yourself, what objections most likely to keep you stuck now that you know them? Time, money, spouse, fear, shame, self-doubt. Which one is your reason not to? Yes, Sandra, I know you're scared. I see that. And I promise you on the other side of your fear is something amazing. There's something amazing on the other side of it. You have to enroll yourself with the thought that I can do this. And then your spouse and your partner by saying, I need to do this. And then the people closest to you by saying, I am doing this. And don't worry if they don't get you. Your college friends, your neighbor friends, the people you walk with or go to the gym with, they don't get you. You say to them, I am doing this. I have to do this. You'll see. And mean it. And to your team, we can do this, team. We can do this. And then to the people that you're serving through your GoPro business, we can do this for you. Look what we can do for you. That's the hierarchy of enrollment. I can do this. I need to do this. I am doing this. We can do this. I can do this for you. That is how it works. And I know you believe it, or you wouldn't be here. You have to work on that certainty. So I just want to close with a quick little story, because like Sandra Phillips, she said, oh God, I'm scared to do this. I know what that looks like. I didn't get here without building that muscle. No one who got on this stage got here without building that muscle. It is hard, and it is worth it. And there was a time in my life where I was married at the time to my first husband, and his family business imploded. And when it imploded, he imploded in spectacular fashion. He started drinking a little bit more at dinner, and then it went through the night, and then it started being a cocktail with lunch, and then before you knew it, it was sort of like an excuse to drink all day, and all of a sudden there was no working, there was only drinking. And if any of you have been with someone who has a problem with alcohol, you know exactly how painful that can be to stand by and watch that happen. And what's most painful is that you can't fix it. Only they can fix it. You cannot fix it. And I remember going to him and saying, I cannot watch you do this. I cannot go down with this ship. You've got to choose differently. I'm going to run an event. I'll be gone for a week. When I come back, you have to have decided. You have to have decided what you're going to do differently, how you're going to show up. And I got back from the trip, and I walked in the house, and I could tell the minute I walked in the door that he had already had a drink. And for those of you who know, you know that you know. And I knew in that very moment, I'm going to have to leave. This is not sustainable. I remember just sitting down in the master bedroom closet and crying with him because he was brokenhearted and I was brokenhearted because he was not going to be able to fix this. And I did leave. We got a divorce, and thank God I had started this business so that I could keep ourselves afloat until, who can relate to until, I'll do this thing until he gets on his feet. I'll do this thing until he stops drinking. I'll do this thing until he fixes everything. Thank God I had done that because I had the ability to leave. I had choice to decide. And I remember going to my mom, and she was like, I have an idea. I'm like, me too. And she's like, I grew up in that tiny little house in Pocahontas Village. By this time, she lived in a townhouse in Washington, D.C. with her husband. And she said, we can turn the basement into a room for you. And you can get your life started. You've just started this business. You can get your life restarted. We'll turn it into a little mini apartment. You'll have your own entrance while you're getting your life together. And that's a good offer, especially for where I was in my life. 38 years old, no children, starting over, just started a business, doing kind of well. I think at that time I was making $75,000 a year. Not bad. And I had been watching Sex and the City and Friends like it was my job. It was the only way I got through long nights, long, painful nights of work and work and work to keep this business afloat. And I had this idea that my people were in New York City. I know that's not completely rational because they're not real, that's not real, but in my mind, if that's where cool people were, that's where I needed to be, I'm going to New York City. And my mom's like, no, you can't go to New York City. That's so expensive and you don't know anybody there. And she was not wrong. Why don't you do the safe thing? Why don't you take this place in the basement until you get back on your feet? Who can relate? They love you. They're looking out for you. She was correct, but she was not right. It was a good idea. She was correct, but it was not right. And it was the first time I stood up to my mom. Not that I need to. My mom's an amazing human who taught me the power of positive thinking, but I had started to think bigger for myself than she could see, than she could think. Who follows? Someone who's championed you your whole life, now you see bigger than they can see. It's an uncomfortable conversation with someone. You'd love to go, no, Mom, I'm meant for more. I'm going to New York City. I know it doesn't make sense, which is why I have to do it. Because if I don't, I will die in that basement. If not literally, figuratively, I will die in that basement. I will not come out from that. And I went to New York City, and I remember getting on the train from DC to New York, and I had an aero bed. It's like a bed that rolls up and folds into this little pouch. And I shoved a sheet into it, and a toothbrush, and a change of clothes, and I was going on the train to my new life. striking out, uncomfortable actions, swinging for the fences, really scared, time, money, fear, shame, self-doubt, all of those things rolled into that little bag on my shoulder on the train going to New York City. And I remember getting to that apartment, like a tiny little loft that I had navigated, my little space in the city, and spreading that out, making that little bed, brushing my teeth, putting on my pajamas, getting into that bed, all the sounds of the city outside that window, right? Like horns and people talking in the street and cabs, and it's a symphony of sound to me. Nothing's ever sounded better to me than the sounds of that city. And ironically, it ended up being on Broadway, of all things, an apartment on Broadway. And I got the best night's sleep of my life that night because I was living life on my terms, my way. I knew I was meant for more, and I knew that more started in New York City. It started in that apartment. And in that apartment, this business grew from $75,000 to multiple 7 figures. Like, we will be an 8-figure business next year. And it's also there that I met my most incredible husband and business partner. On the other side of that fear was that man. And he is amazing. He's everything you could ever ask and want for in a partner. And if I hadn't been strong enough to go past the fear, I would have never gotten to him. That's what's on the other side of your fear. And I want the team to show a picture right now. This is the house that we live in, and that's the house that I grew up in. We eventually moved from New York City to buy this house on the water. Thank you. And I say this not to brag, because nobody needs that, right? I say this because if I can go from Pocahontas Village to this house, I know you can too. You can do this. You are meant for more. It's not just me that can do it. You can do it. But you have to choose it. You have to decide. You have to accelerate. You have to think bigger. You have to show up every single day enrolling yourself and the people around you, and re-enrolling yourself and re-enrolling the people around you. I know for many of you, this is the moment that is your basement to Broadway decision. Are you going to go to the basement, or are you going to go to the big city? Whatever that looks like for you. Basement or Broadway? Decide. Decide, commit, celebrate. Decide to accelerate. Decide to think better, bet bigger. Commit to that decision and celebrate it. Because I promise you what is on the other side is so extraordinary. I can see it for you so clearly. Eric and Marina can see it for you so clearly. All the speakers on this stage can see it for you so clearly. Decide. You are meant for more. Thank you. Thank you.
Bari Baumgardner, everybody! Give her a big round of applause. She's amazing. One of my coaches. She's a rock star. And you know what's so funny? I gotta tell you a story. Can I tell you a story? Show me some hands if I can tell you a story. I was listening to her Basement to Broadway story, and I was thinking back to my early stage in network marketing. Okay, long time ago. I'm a young man, and I signed up. And in my first 90 days, I had a little bit of success, and then it all fell apart. Anybody ever have it all fall apart? Raise your hands if you ever had it all fall apart. It all fell apart. And my whole strategy back then, we used to do hotel opportunity meetings every Tuesday night, every Thursday night, every Saturday morning. We do like a 45-minute presentation. We do some testimonials. We'd invite our guests. We'd show them our little dog and pony show. And then afterwards, some people would say yes, some people would say no. But that was our methodology before Zoom, before all this stuff. So we used to do these opportunity presentations. And the guy who was my first mentor inside of network marketing, his name was Michael Nelson. And I lived in Minneapolis, St. Paul area. And Michael ran the town. I mean, he was a great mentor. He was cross-line. He wasn't in my upline, but I earned my way to learn from him and listen to him. And he was such a great leader. And his meetings were tight, man. Tight. They started on time, great music, great energy. There was always just enough chairs in the room, so it was always a sold-out crowd. The presentations were tight, testimonials were tight, everything was great. And all I had to do was bring people to the meeting. That's all I had to do. And that's all I did. I would bring people to the meeting, and the meeting would do the work for me. So I had this little rhythm. I'd bring people on Tuesday, I'd have the meeting, I'd bring people on Thursday, and I'd bring people on Saturday, and I would repeat. Everybody else always did it. My job was to sit there with my prospects and be excited. And I was kind of a little bit famous in the area, because as a young kid, I always had at least one prospect. Always. Every meeting, I had at least one prospect. I was so proud of it. I was just like, yeah, this is my prospect. Sometimes I'd have a row. I'd have a row of people, 4 or 5 people in the row. You know, sometimes I really pull out all the stops. I'd have 7 or 8. You know, but mostly I had at least one. Okay, I learned how to do that. That was my skill. Now, Michael went out of town into another city to build for 90 days. And the meetings went from being really tight and really productive and great, they started to be awful. They used to be 45 minutes, and now the meetings were 2 hours long. And my prospects were going, I gotta go. I don't have time for this. And the music used to be great before the meeting, and the music disappeared. And then they set up too many chairs, and the presenters would go on and on. The testimonials were terrible, and all different kinds of things. And all of a sudden, my whole system was destroyed. My confidence was, I couldn't bring people to this meeting, because it wasn't working. And this was the only way I was eating. Only way I was surviving was to bring people to these meetings. So, when Michael left town, they had a little committee of different leaders. And the committee was running the meetings. So I went to the committee and I said, ladies and gentlemen, please, can we tighten this up? I think Michael would like us to tighten this up. And they said, we're going to have a meeting on it next month. You can come talk with us at the meeting if you want to. I couldn't survive to the next meeting. Okay? If this didn't get changed right away, I couldn't survive. And they were already talking about, we were doing Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. They canceled Thursdays. They were thinking about canceling Tuesdays. And they were thinking about maybe even going to once a month, which was going to destroy my whole business if they did this. So I'm like, what am I going to do? I'm in this situation, right? I'm broke. My whole model is wrecked. And the people in charge aren't listening to me. So I said, what if I do something I have to do something, or I have to go get a job, okay? So I'll tell you what I decided to do. I drove to the Embassy Suites Airport Hotel next to the Minneapolis-St. Paul Airport. And I walked into the catering room, the catering department. I said, how much does it cost to rent one of your meeting rooms? They had a meeting room that would hold maybe 100 people. And they said $200. $200. Now, I didn't have $200. I literally didn't. But if I was to rent this room, it was like 9 days later, if I was to rent the room, I wasn't going to be able to pay my rent. I was going to be late on my rent. I was going to have to deal with that. So they said, $200, can I get it, 9 days from now on a Thursday when the committee wasn't doing their meeting? And she said yes. And I said, okay. And I got in my car, and I turned the air conditioning on high because I was sweating. I don't know if you've ever had this situation. I drove to the bank, and I got $10, $20 bills, I remember my bank account showed $16.50 as a balance in my bank account. And I drove back to the Embassy Suites. I said, all right, I'd like to reserve the room. She says, do you have the money? You know, I put in a credit card. I said, I don't have a credit card. But here, and I pulled out these, and I get emotional just telling you about it, because I signed the deal for 9 days later, and my hands were shaking handing this over. I was so scared. I was just like, if this doesn't work, I'm in big trouble. So I handed over, and I have the room reserved for 9 days later, 8 or 9 days later. So I made the hard choice. Now what do I got to do? Now that I made the hard choice, now that I burned the bridges, right? Now that I blew up the boats, I do all that stuff. Now what do I have to do? I have to learn how to do a presentation. I didn't know how to do a presentation. I just dragged other people to do in front of the presentation. I had to learn how to do a presentation, so I studied and studied and studied and figured it out. I had to get the name badges that they weren't doing at the meeting. I had to get a little clipboard with the sign-ups. I had to make sure that I had to make a mixtape. Anybody remember mixtapes? I had to make my little plays. It was jock jams, man. Remember jock jams? I was listening. I had to make a mixtape for the music. I had to make sure the air conditioning was perfect. I had to do all the stuff I'd never done before. But my decision forced me into action that I wouldn't have been forced into, so I did it. Right? That was the easy part. Now guess what I gotta do? What do I have to do then? I gotta fill the room. Because how embarrassing is it gonna be in a room full of 80 people when it's me and one prospect? Before I was proud. I was proud. I had my one prospect sitting next to me. I was super proud. High five. I'm kind of famous. Now I show up in a meeting room with 80 people. I spent $200 and I'm sitting knee to knee with one person. That's going to be the most miserable thing ever. So I did something I had never done up until that period of time. I went all in. I called everybody I knew. I called my family, and I said, if you love me, you will be at the Embassy Suites a week from Thursday. I don't care if you join. I don't care if you buy. Your job is to say, wow, isn't he something? That's my nephew. Wow, isn't he something? That's my son. That's my brother. Isn't he something? That's your job. Okay? I don't care if you buy. Doesn't matter. You need to just sit in the seat and play your part. If you're my family, you'll be there. I called every friend I had. If you're my friend, you'll be there. I called every prospect I could think about. This is going to be the biggest thing that's ever happened in the Minneapolis-St. Paul history. You got to be there. It's going to be special. It's going to be spectacular. Now, I never, up until that point, had more than like 7 or 8 people at a meeting. Never in my life. My career in network marketing. This first meeting, I had like 55 people in the room that were connected to me, 55. I did the presentation. It wasn't perfect. But everybody could tell I was trying to change. Right? I was trying to change something. They could sense it, that I was serious, that I'd made a commitment. And guess what happened? 18 people signed up that night. That night, 18. I'll never forget, in the little place where they had the breakfast, they served the breakfast in Embassy Suites, the buffet breakfast, I had a circled up room. I had a circled up of 18 chairs all the way around. And I went to the most excited person. Do you see an opportunity? They said yes. Are you prepared to get started? They said yes. I said, all right, let's set up a time for a game plan interview. In the meantime, here's your paperwork. I went to the next one. Do you see an opportunity? They said yes. You prepared to get started? They said yes. And around the circle we went, and I went, oh my God, I've got 18 people front line to me right now. And how do you think I was viewed by my team? How do you think I was viewed in the community? How do you think I viewed me? How do you think my family viewed me? Totally different than me showing up thinking I was somebody with my one prospect sitting in the front row of somebody else's meeting. It changed everything. Now I got to ask you a question. What would have happened if Michael Nelson never left town? I'd be sitting there with my one little prospect crawling through my network marketing experience. What would have happened if I didn't pull out the $200 out of my bank account and with shaking hands handed over to that catering manager to sign up for that room? I wouldn't be here today. Little decisions, swing big doors. I wouldn't be here today if I didn't. What would have happened if I didn't face my fear and learn how to do a presentation? What would have happened if I didn't fill the room with prospects and go all in? What would have happened? I'd have found my way out of this business. I just would have. I would have blamed everybody else. Oh, it was the committee's fault. It was Michael's fault. It was the meetings, they fell apart. It was that fault. It was the company's fault. But I made some decisions that changed everything. So, that happens. A couple, 3, 4 years later, I have a bigger decision to make. The company had their convention, and they had a challenge for the leaders. Who's willing to make a commitment to getting tickets for the next event for your team? And they started having this little auction thing, and I'll never forget, I find myself standing up and committing to $20,000 worth of tickets for the next company convention. Now, just like the $200, I didn't have it. I had to call some people. I had to figure some stuff out. I had to get creative. I made the commitment, then I had to deliver on the commitment. I didn't have the people on my team in order to be able to match it up. But the decision itself, I'm telling you, it stretched me, and I matched those tickets with bodies, and I had a huge spike of growth as I moved forward. Fast forward a couple years after that. Because how do I say this? My level of guts continued to increase. It started with $200. Then it went to 20 grand. Okay? Then it went to 200,000. You know what I did? The day before our company convention, our convention was in New Orleans. Okay? I am 28 years old. Guess what I rented? The New Orleans Superdome. I rented the whole dome. I decided for my team and for my group, we were going to put on a show. And of course I couldn't fill the Superdome, but I rented it anyway. I made a $200,000 commitment because I wanted my team to go to the next level. So I did. I didn't have it. I did it way before I should have. It was not reasonable. Dave Ramsey would not approve of this decision at all. This was before it was rational to do such a thing. But I did it, and my team spiked like you've never seen. The next year, I made $1 million. The next year. And then last year, it's still going. Last year, August of last year, we don't know what we're going to do. We're in the middle of a pandemic. How are we going to take care of GoPro? How are we going to do this? We can't get together face to face. Tony Robbins did an event with a version of this studio. I called up Tony. Tony, would you rent me your studio? He said, sorry, Eric, I'm not renting it to anyone. So I'm like, well, what if we build it? Marina and I sit down. We realize it's going to take $20 million to build this studio. Real money, 20 million bucks. We didn't have $20 million. But you know what we did? We said, okay. Because if it doesn't work, it's disaster. If we don't finish it in time, it's disaster. It's a nightmare. We said, okay, gulp, let's do it. And I'll never forget, the day we sent the deposits, like $5 million or $6 million for the screens, just the screens here, we sent the wire to the manufacturer in China. Marina came up to me like an hour later. She's got tears running down her face. And she said, did we make a mistake? And I said, I don't know. Can we get the wire back? Is it possible to get the wire back? Because we're partway into this pretty major decision. We called up our CFO. Our CFO said, no, the wire's gone. We went, okay, let's figure it out. I called my friends, my rich friends that I thought for sure, yeah, they'll write me a check. They'll give me a loan. They'll help me finance this. Crickets. Crickets. The ones I thought for sure were going to help me were not lining up to help me. But some people surprised me. We went to the banks. The bank said, ha, 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 no thanks. We don't even know how to collateralize that thing. But I talked to enough people until I finally found some people who said, you know what? All right, fine. We'll help you. We'll give you a loan. We'll help you figure out the financing. We said yes. We told the world, and then we figured it out. We signed the lease to this building on September 21st of last year, and it was empty. Okay? And we hosted the first virtual GoPro on December 9th. We got our certificate of occupancy the day before. We figured it out. So it's still going. Every step we've taken before we should have. We've committed before we were ready. You know, we're just like, okay, we don't know. We don't know how this is going to happen, but we know we got to do something. We walked in, and the guy he's here, his name's Art, he helped us with all these screens, and there's a whole bunch of patented stuff inside of the studio. He said, how are you walking? I said, what do you mean, how am I walking? He said, because you've got huge balls. How are you walking? I don't understand how you're doing it. It was the courage between myself and Marina, and guess what? On top of that, Marina built this place. She built this place, top to bottom. She didn't have a single ounce of experience doing this. Some of you don't have the experience to make the commitment that we're talking about making. Some of you are not prepared. Some of you are not ready. But guess what? For the hungry, that doesn't matter. What matters is the action necessary. You'll do the work after you take the action. So look, this is the last break before we have the welcome celebration at lunch. We're going to take a break in just a moment. It's your time to claim your space in Accelerator before you're ready. Not the time to take the easy road. Don't wind up in the basement, as Bari talked about. Make 2022 your year. It's not going to be easy. Best things in life rarely are, but here's the good news. You have to do the work, but you don't have to do it alone. If you believe you're meant for more, join me in the Accelerator program. It's going to